The Alpha Horizon. Thinking different, acting aware.
Hi, I'm Silvia Merler, Head of Research at the Algebris Policy and Research Forum. Welcome back to this podcast, where today we're going to discuss the latest development in the EU tackling of the COVID-19 crisis and the implication for European integration going forward.
The Eurogroup met again on Friday, the 8th of May. The purpose was to give more details on how to adopt the measures they defined in April to respond to the economic impact of the pandemic in Europe. What was the outcome?
I think the outcome of this Eurogroup meeting is half positive and half negative. On the positive side, we now have full clarity about the conditions of the new ESM credit line for pandemic support. And this will be very favorable conditions, both in terms of the length and maturity of the loans, which will be average maximum maturity of 10 years, and on the interest rate that will be charged, which should be really small. So for Italy, for example, the instrument would allow saving around 700 million in interest cost per year compared to the alternative of having to go on the market. On the negative side, however, we were also expecting to see some details about the EU Recovery Fund, but the European Commission has not yet unveiled their proposals. I believe that the European Recovery Fund is by far the most important initiative still under discussion because it could make a lot of difference as far as the impact of this crisis will be on member states' public finances. So this is the key piece that we will still have to look forward to understand what the impact of the COVID shock will finally be on the economies of Europe.
On the 5th of May, the German Constitutional Court called on the ECB to justify its 2015 QE programme and asked to prove acceptable justification for the practice. What does this mean for the ECB?
Well, the German Constitutional Court verdict does not have any direct, immediate impact on the European Central Bank, and this is due to the fact that the German Constitutional Court is a local jurisdictional organ, and it does not have the power to impose things on a EU institution like the ECB or to prevent the ECB from doing anything. So in the short term, quantitative easing will continue exactly as it's been going on for the past weeks. However, for the medium term, there is a concern because the German Constitutional Court has requested further information from the ECB on the conduct of this monetary policy operation. And if the ECB were not to comply with the request, the German court could actually ask or require the Bundesbank to stop engaging in quantitative easing. That would obviously have major implications for European integration because it would suggest that Germany is no longer fully a member of the ECB's monetary policy operations. On the other hand, there is a far more important consequence of this judgment, which is the fact that it could open the back door to a lot of similar local courts' challenges to the ECJ against the primacy of the EU legal order on matters that are far more serious than the ECB monetary policy, for example, the rule of law or the fundamental values on which the European Union is built.
Following the latest developments in this pandemic, is Europe more united today than divided? And what are the implications?
I think it is fair to say that the COVID-19 crisis will be the one crisis that either makes or breaks Europe for real. And the reason is very simple. This is a crisis that has all the features that you would expect for bringing Europe together. It is a global exogenous shock that hits all countries pretty much in the same way and is unrelated to countries' domestic economic policies. So it is the obvious case where European-level solidarity is warranted and justified. However, on this very subject, we are seeing a resurfacing of the tensions between North and South that we have already witnessed during the Eurozone crisis in 2011-2013. And this is really driving a wedge across member states that could have very long-term implications for European integration going forward. So I believe this is the moment for countries to realize that if the European Union is to survive and thrive, the only way forward is to accept more risk sharing, including on matters that are pertinent to fiscal policy. Thank you very much for having been with us on this podcast, and we hope to have you back soon listening to more content from our Algebris team.
The Alpha Horizon. Thinking different, acting aware.